Okay, we're going to try this again. Good evening from Capitol Hill. I started this stream a few minutes ago and completely lost the signal. And so I had to walk quite a ways to see if I could find a few more bars. Hopefully this will work. I am on the back side of the Supreme Court building. This is the Supreme Court from the other side. And we've walked in front of the Capitol, where you can get a good look at the front of the Supreme Court building. But the back is just as beautiful and not undergoing renovation right now. The building that you can see just to the left is part of the Library of Congress. And we've taken a look at that building before as well. But we're on the backside. We're here on 2nd Street Northeast. I had started this stream up at 2nd Street and East Capitol, but there's no signal. So we're here. And our adventure today is to take a look at the Senate. This is some interesting driving work here. Our adventure today is to take a good look at the Senate office buildings. A few weeks ago, on a Saturday, we took a close look at all the House office buildings that are on Independence Avenue. Now we're on the opposite side of the Capitol, on the Constitution Avenue side, and we're going to take a look at those Senate buildings. And I brought my notes, so we'll have some information. Hey, I know! The prepared stream, it died, and I had to run up the street here to try to find signals. Holocron, it's great to see you. So hopefully some folks will find me here. What a pain. The cellular service throughout this city is so spotty for the nation's capital. It's just the pits. So, hey, and you're in first place. You're in first place in the channel points race there, Holocron. Great to see you. I also started the stream a little early because, as you can see, the sunny day has turned cloudy really fast, and I'm not sure if there's any rain in the forecast, so I want to make sure we take our walk quickly. Hi, Sadiq. Great to see you. Hi, Subrathu Devnath. I'm waving my notes. I'm not going to wave because my nails are terrible today. I did some digging over the weekend, so my nails are awful. But when my nails are done, I'll wave in front of the... Hi, from Canada, from India. Great to see you. So we're at the back of the United States Supreme Court building. This is the back part of the building. We've been around the front before. And then this building with this patina dome to the left is part of the Library of Congress, and we've been there before in the front. But today we're going to take a walk north on 2nd Street, and we're going to visit the Senate office buildings up here on Constitution Avenue. And along the way, of course, we'll appreciate some historic architecture. Most of these townhomes here were built in the late 1800s. Some in the early 1800s, and we're going to take a look at the very first one on the corner up here is an 1820s structure that is preserved by the National Register for Historic Places. And here, the National Center for State Courts. Now, at the other end of this block, I really wanted to show you all the Embassy of Florida. Yep, that's correct. The state of Florida has an embassy here in the United States. They call it the Embassy of Florida. It's Florida House. It's not really an embassy, but they call it the only state embassy in Washington, D.C. Now, we could have a long discussion about Texas and all the places where Texas had embassies around the world, including in London. And the Texas Embassy in London also eventually became a really nice Tex-Mex restaurant that is no longer there, sadly. I like this one. I do like this one. On the corner here. This one is the American Center for Law and justice, and also has that beautiful, I'm not going to call it a stained glass transom because I don't think it is. I think it's painted glass, but not traditional stained glass. It looks newer, but it's an eagle, and that's quite pretty. But this is a good one. But today, our journey today is all about the Senate side. We did take a look at the House of Representatives office buildings a couple of Saturdays ago, and I gave you all the architectural information about those. So today I thought we'd hit the Senate. Before we do, we're on the corner right now of Maryland Avenue and 2nd Street in Northeast Washington, D.C. And this building over here is the home of the Veterans of Foreign Wars, the VFW, which is a wonderful association for all veterans. It has a nice monument in front. We're not going to cross over right now. If we have time, we'll come back around this way, but I want to get these buildings in view. So this first one on the corner, and I'm going to stay across the street because the buildings are so big, I can't get on the same side. But this first building, this is the Sewell, I guess it's going to be Sewell Belmont House, protected by the National Register of Historic Places and also managed by our National Park Service as a historic home. It was built in 1820. I don't have to tell you that it's a brick structure. You can see that. It has some wrought iron ornamentation and of course those beautiful black shutters. It's not a traditional federal style. It's kind of a modified later style. Again, built in 1820. And what you can see just to the right of it is part of the Hart Senate office building there, but we're going to get around the front and take a look at the front of the building when it's safe to cross the street here. Traffic's crazy right now. It is, obviously heart of rush hour right now. I'm gonna wait for it to be safe to cross. Hope everybody's having a great day. I didn't get to stream over the weekend. We were too busy with our 7-hour Lord of the Rings special. If you haven't checked that out, I'll tell you, 7 hours did not go by quickly. It went by very quickly. So I didn't get to stream over the weekend just because that was quite an endeavor. And here's another kind of front view. The car's in the way. Kind of front view of that Sewell Belmont house, built in 1820. Now, on the other side of the United States Capitol, Independence Avenue, are all the House of Representatives office buildings. And on this side of the Capitol, which is Constitution Avenue, are all of the Senate office buildings. Road is clean. Yeah, you know what? It is. And really and truly, depending on which party is in power, that is how the cleanliness of this city goes. So usually when Republicans are in power, the place is spit spot. When the Democrats are in power, and this is not a political statement at all, but when the Democrats are in power, the place falls apart. Not a political statement. So Holocron, Germany's embassy is all the way out in Fox Village. Yes. I have done a short on Germany's embassy, and if I get an opportunity to go to an event there, Holocron, I will definitely film there. It's one of the largest properties for an embassy. The embassy of Germany is just a few steps away from the embassy of France in the same general area in Foxhall. The embassy of Great Britain and the embassy of Russia, those are all really big properties. And the embassy of Germany also includes the residence of the German ambassador at that facility. So now we're looking at the Hart Senate office building. This building was designed by Warnke and Associates. It was built in 1974, And hopefully you can see that the front of this building, that's not concrete, that's marble. So the front of the building is marble. The building is sort of, it's not an L, it's kind of an E shape, sort of, because the Sewell Belmont House is here, and that's historic, so that's not going anywhere. The Hart building is kind of built around it a little bit, and it also goes behind it. But you can just see the top of the U.S. Capitol peeping out over the trees there. So obviously the staffers have a quick walk. They also have tunnels. There are tunnels under the ground so that they don't have to cross these mean streets. But when they do that, they miss these beautiful gardens when they're traveling the tunnels. So, you know, you gotta choose what's important. And this is a side view of the Supreme Court building here. It's a big building. Still has the scaffolding on the front side. We just saw the back side. But the Supreme Court is still undergoing some wonderful renovation to clean up the marble and the granite and the stone. All right, let's continue. We're crossing Maryland Avenue. Remember, Washington, D.C. is a grid pattern designed in great part by Pierre L'Enfant. And the idea is that the streets that run east to west are letters, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. The streets that run north-south are numbers. But these diagonal streets that connect important places are named for states. So this is Maryland, my state, my home state. There's also Virginia, New York. You see me often on Massachusetts Avenue, Rhode Island Avenue, Indiana, Nebraska. We could go on and on and on. But the important places and the big traffic circles are connected diagonally by streets named after the states. So this is the Hart Senate Office Building. But wait, there's more. So we're continuing to walk down Constitution Avenue. Well, Sadiq, take care and have a good sleep. Now this next building, you can see, is not the same style as the Hart building, but great care was taken to make sure that the architectural style, the architectural themes of this building were complemented by the Hart building. So this building is the Durskin Senate Office Building here on Constitution Avenue. It's actually 100 Constitution Avenue. And as you can see as well, the Durskin building has a stone edifice, and the color is complemented by the marble in the building next door. The Durskin building was designed by architects Eggers and Higgins, and the building was constructed in 1958. And both of these buildings have flat roofs. They're not ornamented roof. Whoa, okay, there's a hole. They're not ornamented roofs. Oops, excuse me. And I'm kind of losing the signal again, so I hope everyone hangs on. We have one more of the big Senate office buildings to take a look at. And then we'll go through the gardens on the Senate side of the United States Capitol. So Holocron, on the grounds of the Embassy of Germany, I think the architecture reflects Germany, or German architecture. It is, maybe it's stereotypical to say it's very stark and clean and lean. I think it's really interesting. It just underwent some renovations last summer as well. I think it's kind of cool. It also has a garden And during events, that garden turns into a beer garden. So the Germans are awesome. All of you, all of you. So here's another look at the corner of the Durskin building. Now there's a lot of traffic today. And then we'll take a look from this corner. We'll cross over in a minute. We'll take a look from this corner at the Russell Senate office building. This building was designed by Carrere and Hastings. It was built in 1909. It is the senior of all of the Senate buildings. Built of stone, of course, in that neoclassical style. And I'm gonna have to wait for traffic. That's a lot of traffic today. I mean, it is rush hour, obviously. It's 5 o'clock on a Tuesday in the nation's capital. So there's a lot of traffic. All right, I'm gonna see if it's safe to cross. Yes, okay. Hi everyone, thank you for joining. We're here in Washington, D.C. We're taking a look at the architecture on the Senate side of the United States Capitol. And this is the Russell Senate office building. I think it's the biggest. Yeah, it's definitely the biggest. As you can see from my notes here, don't judge the handwriting. Not getting a very good look at the U.S. Capitol right now because of all the trees. Trees in full bloom, which is a good thing. I know, yeah, I do. I know that's modern Germany. Hi, Lil Dubs. How do you rate DC as a place to live long term? I live about 40 minutes from this part of Washington, DC, and I would love to live right here every day. I work in and around Washington, D.C. I have my whole life, and I would love to live here. Everyone knows my favorite neighborhood is the Kalorama neighborhood. I find it to be safe if you know where you are and what you're doing. Just as, you know, in any city, just know your surroundings and be smart and be safe. But I find Washington, D.C. to be just amazing. And most importantly, there's so much to do here. We talk about all the monuments and memorials, the museums, most of which are free. You could spend weeks here and not do everything. And so much of it is free of charge. And even just walking around the neighborhoods or the business area or the government area here, there's a lot to see. Even if you're not into architecture or history, there's just a lot to see. It's 90 degrees on a summer evening, and it's a nice walk. It's a really nice walk or a nice run. Ooh, if you ever get a chance seeing Hamburg City Hall, that one kicks Buckingham Palace right into the curb. Okay, I'm gonna look that one up, Holocron. I'm gonna look up Hamburg City Hall for sure. Thank you for the recommendation. I look forward to learning about that one. Yeah, Poland is another place I need to visit. There's a lot of places I need to visit. I have ancestry from Poland, Russia, Germany. But I love history and I love architecture, so I'll go anywhere. Now we will get a nice peek here of the U.S. Capitol. Right here around the corner. Now I've walked up here so many times, I'm not gonna do it today just because I've done it so many times. So we're gonna go to the gardens today. But we'll take a look. And yes, you can walk all the way up here. These barriers are just for cars. Pedestrians can walk all the way up to the steps. Walk all the way up the steps. Do a little Schoolhouse Rock. If you want to do the I'm Just a Bill song and sit on the steps. Waiting on Capitol Hill. But as you can see, people are free to move about. This is a hill though. This is a hill. We're starting on the top. If you work your way down the hill, just remember you're going to have to come back up this hill. Most of Washington, D.C. is relatively flat and fantastic for bike riding and walking. And it's a great workout too if you do the hills, but just be aware. Capitol Hill, places around Rock Creek also are hilly. Thank you. Thank you. Always say thank you to our law enforcement officers. Always, always, always. Now there's a really good look at the main entrance to the Russell Senate Office Building. It's huge. Now, why are there only 3 Senate office buildings and there seem to be more House office buildings? Because there are more members of the House of Representatives. There are only 2 senators from every state. And that's to give each state parity. But on the House of Representatives side, the number of representatives is based on the population of the state. So states like Texas and California have far more representatives than my state of Maryland, or the state of Delaware, or the state of Rhode Island, which are very small. And we have representatives in the single digits. Capitol Hill is a hill. I know. Shocker. It is. And it's a big one too. It's a big walk. So if you're not prepared for it, you have to be prepared for it. And right across the way, back to the Russell Building. Absolutely beautiful architecture. Now, Washington, D.C. is a green city in every way. It was designed that way. George Washington decided way back when we were deciding that this would be the nation's capital around 1790, George Washington wanted to make sure there was a place for plants. And he came up with the idea of the United States Botanic Garden, which is on the other side of the Capitol over there. So check out my video on the Botanic Garden. I think I did a nice edited video on that. If I do say so myself, with all the flowers in bloom, which was awesome. But George Washington and the founders knew it was important to maintain green space. So Washington, D.C. has always had planned greened spaces everywhere you go. And here next to the United States Capitol, there are several gardens, and this is just one of them. This one is to the north of the Capitol building. It's between the U.S. Capitol and Union Station. And I'm looking and seeing that my signal is not so good. So I'm going to walk really fast while the signal's not good down here to the fountains. Yes, very green. What it also does is, because there are so many green spaces and because the buildings are not very tall, it makes Washington, D.C. a relatively quiet city. Despite all the business and the hustle and bustle, it's a relatively quiet city. Now, if this stream ends because I seem to have lost all my bars, I want to thank everyone for joining. This may be an abrupt end to the stream. Hopefully you'll all hang on until I find some signal here. So I'm walking fast, so I do apologize for walking so quickly. But I wanted to get to the fountain as well. And then we'll get a view of the fountain, and then we'll turn around and get another view looking back at the Capitol. Getting a little hazy here now. These clouds came out of nowhere. It was bright blue sky not too long ago. Oh, thanks, Holocron. I appreciate that. I'm sorry for running so quickly. I know the stream gets bouncy when I run so fast. But I'm Following the bars. Tracking down the bars. And I need to fold up my little notes here because I'm done with my notes. Something has bloomed here over the last few days, and everyone's allergies are just acting up. So I apologize also for sniffling a lot. Hi, Corporal. Yes, Washington, D.C. We are at the gardens just north of the United States Capitol, enjoying this beautiful fountain. And I'll stop bopping right now just to enjoy the fountain. Quite calm and peaceful. And then we'll take a look back at the view from the fountain. Oh, holocron, that's way beyond my technical abilities. Good thought. Good thought. It is. I know. Rest in peace, Ozzy. Oh my gosh. I know I was playing Crazy Train and Mama, I'm Coming Home when I was driving here today. Rest in peace, Ozzy. Washington is a great city. It's a great walking city. It is a fantastic walking city. Any time of day. Ooh, sun is coming out. Blue skies. All right. This is what we wanted. That blue sky view. That is beautiful. Hey, doggy. Uh-oh, he's going in the water. He did it. He's in. Oh, this is great. Good job, buddy. Oh, that was great. Don't worry about me. I was just filming the fountain. Now I got a dog in the fountain. That's awesome. Oh my gosh. Well, that was fun. Have a good night. What's the dog's name?
Her name is Maggie.
This is Maggie, everybody. This is Maggie the Wonder Dog. Awesome. Good night. Well, everyone, you got to meet Maggie the Wonder Dog. How cool is that? Hail Maggie. Oh, there she goes. What a hoot. All right, come on, dude. Do it one more time right here. There it comes. Ah, that was short. That was a short one. Well, thanks for the entertainment, Maggie the Wonder Dog. we're still walking north of the US Capitol through the park. And if we kept going, we'd be at Union Station. I'm not going to go all the way up there. We'll take a look at these fountains. This is the prime location for high school graduation pictures. And I see them all year long. So people must, plan their graduation pictures way before graduation here at these fountains. All right, I've made it down the steps without falling. That's a good thing. So if I were to go up this street, this is North Capitol Street. This is the street that divides east from west in Washington, D.C. So if you're to the right of this street, you're in northeast or southeast. And if you're to the left, you're in northwest or southwest. And the street that divides north from south is Capitol Street, where we were at the Capitol, where we actually began our day, our journey. But unfortunately, we were scuppered by the lack of cell signal, sadly. We'll head back up the steps. I'm so glad the blue sky made an appearance. Maggie the Wonder Dog is still going at it. So as I was saying, if you're in Washington, D.C., check out all those monuments and memorials, which are that way, where the camera's facing. Walk around a little bit outside and off the beaten path and see what you find. You'll always find lots of green space. Beautiful architecture, history everywhere you go. We'll walk back toward the office buildings, and I'm going to see if the signal will hold to where I originally started this walk, which was at Florida House, because I want to show you Florida House. So let's see if it'll hold. But in the meantime, there's lots to look at. I'm going to try to put my notes away where they won't make noise. gonna fold them up here. Okay. That should be better. You shouldn't be hearing my notes flapping about. So we're back to the Russell building. This was the Russell Senate building. Just steps across the street from the United States Capitol. This one was built in 1909. It's the oldest of the Senate office buildings. We got the better view from the front. So we'll get up to the front and get a better view. Now, I don't think Daryl is in the chat, or else he'd be telling me to look for cones, but I do see some traffic cones up there. Daryl has a thing for traffic cones. I don't quite understand. Is it a British thing? Something about misappropriating traffic cones, which I do not endorse nor recommend. It's so quiet here for 5:30 in the absolute heart of our nation's capital. Other than a few horn honks and sirens, it's incredibly quiet. Good view of the United States Capitol Police car. We thank them for their service to keep all of us safe so that we can enjoy walking around in the nation's capital. There's a really good look back at the Russell building. Marble, granite, white stone. Beautiful. Just beautiful. With the setting sun, not quite setting, with the evening sun illuminating the beautiful building. So we did the other side, the House office buildings, in the morning because the sun was over there. So I wanted to come over here in the evening and get these shots this way. Now we'll come back on this side of the street. Whoa, okay. Get another good shot there. We'll come back on this side of the street. We'll enjoy the big, huge container gardens, which also provide security for these buildings. After the Oklahoma City bombing in 1994, the U.S. Capitol and other federal buildings around the country, they upped their protection by placing container gardens, big boulders, ornamental boulders, bollards everywhere, so that a vehicle couldn't roll up right to the building. All throughout Washington, D.C., you'll find really helpful directional signage. But I encourage you to wander. Walk off the beaten path. Washington, D.C. cabs are red. In New York, they're yellow. In London, they're black. In Washington, D.C., they're red. We'll get a good view here. Close-up view, which might not be the best view. Nope, I'm losing my notes again. I have to stop doing that. Okay. This is the Russell Senate Office Building in Washington, D.C. If you're just joining the stream, welcome. I just took a walk down Constitution Avenue and now I'm walking back up Constitution Avenue, or west. No, sorry, east on Constitution Avenue to look at the Senate office buildings. A few weeks ago, we looked at the House office buildings, and now we're looking at the Senate buildings. And I apologize for the bopping. I'm too close. That's why I started the stream on the other side of the street. The amount of pollen in the air right now, you can taste it. Allergies are at an all-time high today, for sure. Best to do when there's a bicyclist on the sidewalk, because they're not supposed to be on the sidewalk, is to just stand still. Let them ride around you. It's the safest thing to do. Don't try to dodge and weave. You'll always guess wrong, and you might get run over. And this is the side entrance, again, Senate office building. I hope this lady gets her taxi. She's been trying. She's waved down like 5 of them. Good for her. Glad she got her taxi.
No, and then right now she texted me. She saw it on there and she's like,
ooh, uh-oh, holocron. Yeah, I'm down to 1 bar again. We'll see. This is about where I lost it last time. I'll stay on as long as I can. If the stream drops, I want to say thank you to everyone who joined and encourage you to visit Washington, D.C. I've lived and worked here my entire life, and I love it. I love the architecture. I love the history. There's so much to do here. I find new things every day. We'll see if the stream will hold up until I get to a restaurant or somewhere to grab a little something. Sometimes the stream stays on and it looks like I'm still streaming, and then when I upload the video, like 10 minutes are gone from the back of the video. And by the way, I know, Holocron, I think it was you who asked why I don't leave the stream running. I can't because I'm on my phone. If I were on PC, I could end the stream and it would still keep going. But because I'm on phone, it has to upload. So it immediately goes private until it's uploaded. But here we're back at the Hart Building. The Capitol Hill signage all look like this. They all have a star. So whether it's a map of the Capitol Hill area or specific building signs, they're all designed like this. Pretty cool. All the fancy cars for all the important people. Beautiful gardens though, so that yellow flower there is the state flower of Maryland. That's the black-eyed Susan, Rudbeckia. Yeah, yes, like insect stings, for sure. I know. I'm not a real YouTuber, Holocron, so I haven't figured it out yet. They might have fancier phones, or I don't know. I wish I knew. I wish I knew, but I know as soon as I end the video's rendering, and I can't even watch it for a few hours, or go backward or anything because it's still rendering. I'll figure it out someday. But I appreciate your help. You all have been very helpful and supportive. So we're back to that Sewell Belmont house, built in 1820. And this is where the National Woman's Party fought for the right to vote, right here. Right here. The National Women's Party headquarters. This building is on, and these are crepe myrtles, by the way, beautiful crepe myrtles. This building is on the National Register of Historic Places, and it is managed by the National Park Service. So you can visit. It is also the Women's Equality Monument. Now, while the building was built in 1820, it was occupied by the National Woman's Party in 1913. And we're still blocked. All these trees block some of the views, but that's okay. Ask for directions. A lot of people ask me for directions. I hope I've sent them in the right direction. I really do. This is the headquarters of the VFW, the Veterans of Foreign Wars. And this monument here, it's a really nice monument. Ooh, if I can prevent the sun from crashing down. So the different panels, the different relief sculptures here commemorate different important milestones in the history of the United States military, from 1776 to the United States Civil War, World War I and II, as well as Korea and Vietnam on the other side. Go over here. Oh, and it's hard because I'm shooting into the sun. And it just got super duper hot. I mean, it was 90, of course, but 90's hot. That little breeze went away. Little tiny breeze. Now, anywhere on Capitol Hill, you can find lots of architecture to admire. This is the President Adams building. It's an apartment building. Beautiful. Check that out. A pretty penny to be here. Really, I mean, rentals right here Monthly are probably 10 times a mortgage payment in other places. Beautiful architecture on this one. I know I keep saying that, it's quite repetitive. Beautiful architecture, but it is. There's so much of it. Now, I was just thinking of heading to a restaurant that I've been to before, and now I realize it's Tuesday, and it's closed on Mondays and Tuesdays. I've done that before. I must typically take walks on Tuesday nights because I think this is the second time I've headed down here and forgotten that this restaurant is closed on Tuesdays. Yeah, they're beautiful. They have these lovely front gardens. Some of them have the wrought iron fences, which I really like, the wrought iron. But here, just steps from the U.S. Capitol, it gets quiet. Oops. This one has a huge forecourt and a garden here. Quite nice. That's like me with Greek. Oh, are they closed on Mondays and Tuesdays as well? I don't know what it is, but I always forget. And I know why. It's because restaurants have to be open on Saturdays and Sundays. So they need a day off sometime. So they take off Mondays and Tuesdays. Not supposed to be on the sidewalk. Oh well, at least she used the little bell. I appreciate the little ding ding. I do appreciate that. All right, we're gonna cross over and loop back around. I've been able to hold the signal, so maybe we'll get back down to Florida House, which is what I really wanted to show everyone, was Florida House. And I couldn't do it. There were no bars. Phone signal. Hello, Mosen. Very nice to see you. Thank you for joining. We are in Washington, D.C. We just did a walk around the north side of the Capitol, checked out the Senate office buildings, went through the park, saw Maggie the Wonder Dog in the fountain. So when I upload this video, probably tomorrow, when I upload this video, check out Maggie the Wonder Dog. Who knew there was a Maggie the Wonder Dog? Dude, like, I have the walkie sign. Oh, no, I don't. Okay. I don't have the walkie sign. The walkie sign on that side of the street. Okay, we're going to be super careful. I have the walkie sign on this side of the street. So as you can see, we're just blocks from the U.S. Capitol here. And we're enjoying a stroll on Capitol Hill. Some of these roses just about on their last legs. May and early June is usually the best time for roses here. So check out my video on the roses at the Kathleen Dulger. There's a garden. There's a video on roses. You'll see it on my channel. And there's mushrooms. Little mushrooms. on this lawn. Yeah, we're pretty much done with all of the flowering plants. We're in the dog days. Now this one here, this end unit, I don't know what it is. This olive green, I love this olive green on these townhomes. I like painted brick when it's not crazy colors. This is gorgeous. It's such a rich color. And also not very typical. So it really stands out. All right, we're getting close. We may be able to get to Florida House. So this stream took a total detour from what I had planned, but that's okay. There's always something to see in Washington, D.C. Always. So if going in one direction doesn't work, we'll just go in the other direction. And maybe even you can loop back around and end up where you started. I keep seeing people sniffling and wiping their noses because the pollen is unbearable. Absolutely unbearable today. You can taste it. I don't know which tree bloomed today and yesterday. But the eyes can feel it. Now that's an interesting one. Now again, the fun of the architecture in this area is the variety. And this one certainly stands out. It's not like the rest of the townhomes. Interesting design. And then here, just a regal 4-story. In this apartment block. Whoa, apartment building. Just a reminder, if you're off the beaten path, the path you're walking might be cobblestone or bumpy brick. So always look down. Oh, be still my heart. Wrought iron. Look at that. Look at that. I love wrought iron when it's done well. So look at the design with the star in the steps there. Wow. The typical gate work and fence work. This is kind of typical for many parts of Washington, D.C. But the railings and the steps are just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, I'm gonna ask the stream to be patient with me while I pause and take a photo. So the stream's just gonna stutter for a second. Okay, I'm back. So sorry for that, but I had to get a picture. That'll be my thumbnail. But here's where, like, just take a look at that sidewalk. I do worry about older people. Check that out. Courtyard. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh, look at these. Okay, I'm liking this block right here. This is, let me see the street sign. This is 3rd Street or 2nd. It's either 3rd or 4th. I'll get to the corner in a second. And we're between A Street and Constitution Avenue. Looking at these Absolutely charming, charming homes. This is 4th Street. Okay, so we're at A and 4th Street in Northeast, because we are to the right of North Capitol Street, which means we're east, and we're above East Capitol Street, which means we're north. I know, figure that out. North of East Capitol makes it north, south of East Capitol makes it south. And I'm gonna talk really loud because of the music coming from this car over here, so we don't get a copyright strike. Now this is probably somewhat newer compared to some of the other homes here. And when I say newer, maybe late 1800s instead of mid 1800s. Yeah, this is my favorite block. Ooh, and some of these are for sale. I don't even want to venture a guess. All right, now we're on A Street. So I think we are going to head this way, because I think we'll be at Florida House, which is where I wanted to start this walk, but I could not get a signal. Oh, check that out. Just check out that railing work. Amazing. All right, so this one is for sale. It's tiny. I like it. Oh my gosh. 3 million, I'm gonna guess. Nah, probably 1.6. 1.6 for 2 stories.